Alright, there are some times where you're going to simplify a rational expression, but you have to look for binomials that are opposites. So for example, if you have a 5 minus x, the opposite of that, if you just change both your signs, would be x minus 5. So those are opposites because you can just take out a negative 1. So you could rewrite something such as 25 minus x squared as take a negative 1 out, and then you just reverse the order of x squared minus 25. So we're going to do the same thing down here on number 7, because if we are to factor 25 minus x squared, that actually becomes 5 plus x and 5 minus x. Remember, your 5 would be written first, and your x's would be negative. And if we were to factor the denominator here of 8x minus 40, if you take a GCF of 8 out, then you have an x minus 5. And what some people try to do is they try to actually cancel a 5 minus x with an x minus 5. That is not possible. So what we're going to do is we're going to actually notice that those can't be canceled like that. So we're going to have to take out a negative 1. I guess the easiest way to notice that when you need to take a negative out is if your your variable is written second and your number is written first. So my recommendation is to look for that. So I'm going to take a negative 1 out, and that means I can rewrite my 25 minus x squared as an x squared minus 25 instead. And the bottom still stays the same as an 8x minus 40. So now let's go into factor mode. So this will be a little different because our x is first, so we're going to have an x plus 5 and an x minus 5 because the difference of squares. Now on the bottom, this is not a difference of squares, but we can take a GCF of 8 out first. And you get an x minus 5 like so. So when you want to go into canceling, the only thing that will actually cancel is going to be your x minus 5s left over. And you can write this a couple different ways. You can either say this is a negative 1 times x plus 5 all over 8, or you could move the negative down to 8. Usually you don't put the negative down with it in the denominator, but you could put the negative out front of your fraction. So you have a negative x plus 5 over 8. Technically you could distribute your negative through, but I wouldn't recommend it. So your two options are given here. I would probably look at this as a possibility whenever you're doing one of your assignments or a quiz in the future. So don't forget, you can look for your opposites, and when you look for your opposites, just make sure you take out a negative 1.